Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you, wherever you are and whenever you are. My name is Ryan Stanley, and this is episode 40 of Be Patient, Be Present, Be Joyful, the big 4-0. I think we're officially an adult at this point. Today's topic is called Good Guys versus Bad Guys. That's right, Good Guys versus Bad Guys, the comic book episode. It's not really a comic book episode as much as it's a superhero episode. I have been every Sunday for about the past 5 or 6 weeks. I've been spending as soon as I get up in the morning, my two boys, 7 and 9, are already up, and we've been watching the Marvel movies chronologically, one at a time, starting with Captain America and then Captain Marvel, and moving through the order of the movies. I think we snuck in a couple um, Fantastic Four movies in there because I'm not really part of the series. But anyway, so every Sunday we spend time watching these superhero movies, and we've been having a lot of fun together. But it has, as most things do, gotten me to thinking about life and thinking about who the superheroes are in today's world, who the superheroes are in my life, and who are the villains, who are the bad guys. And so I thought this would be a cool kind of topic to discuss because there's so many people out there. I think there are so many bad guys out there. I hate to be, as a life coach, as a leadership coach, as somebody who's living on purpose and doesn't necessarily look to stare at things that don't serve me. Some things you just can't help but observe out in the world today, especially with so many forms of media to observe them with. Um, but I really feel like there's an opportunity to share some of the good guys, or at least my opinion as to the difference between the two. In fact, I'm going to give you a list of good guys in my life of who I believe are superheroes. But before I do that, I want to give you the difference between the two. In my opinion, the difference between the superheroes, the good guys, and the villains, the bad guys in today's society, and so that you can tell the difference, who they are in your life, whether they be, well, I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to tell you who the bad guys are because, it's not my space to judge and tell you who the bad guys are in your life. I'm going to give you my opinion as to what makes up a good guy versus makes a good, the major characteristics, and they're very simple, and I'll let you decipher who is and isn't in your life. So, from my experience and my perspective, the good guys are the guys. Well, actually, let's dial it back. Sorry, before I get there. When you were looking at superheroes and we're looking at comic books and I'm watching these movies on a regular basis, typically the superheroes are the ones who fly in and save you. And they swoop in and they're there to save the day, leap tall buildings, do the whole thing. They come in and they're saving us from the bad guys. And what I found in my experience and what I'm observing is the truth is that's not that's not what I'm seeing in that's not what I'm seeing in the superheroes. That's not what I'm seeing in the good guys, seeing in the good guys today. In fact, I'm seeing the bad guys are the ones who are telling you to be afraid. And there's so much out there to be afraid of. And if you trust them, they will swoop in and save you. And to not like other people because they're not like you. And to not, they're constantly dividing us and creating separation in the human experience through judgment. And is diversion a word? A diversion is not the word I'm thinking of, but it is a word. But divisiveness, you know what I'm saying, dividing us. Bad guys are saying, hey, you should be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, death, scarcity. You're not going to be okay. You need me. You need us. You need me to come in and save you. And I'm going to make you a bunch of promises, and I'm not necessarily going to keep them. But don't go out, don't do anything without me. You need me because there's bad guys out there. The bad guys are telling you about the other bad guys. Ironically, this is me telling you about the other bad guys. So am I a bad guy? Perhaps. I don't know. It's all about your perspective. But that's not the way, I guess, from my experience, I don't spend a lot of time telling people who bad guys are. And that's why I'm not labeling anybody in particular. I'm mostly labeling characteristics. Now, the good guys, on the other hand, are not going to swoop in and save you, or they will, but they'll do it by showing you that you have the power within to save yourself. You, as being a human being with a form of consciousness and the ability to create your own thoughts at any given moment, have the ability to be your own superhero. And the superheroes in my life and in my world that I'm observing are the ones who are not only doing this for themselves, but showing you how to do it for yourself and sharing with you the ability to do it yourself. So in that space, I guess I'm also a good guy. So I will be the good guy and the bad guy in this scenario. Bad guy because I'm telling you who the bad guys are, but good guy because I'm telling you that you are the good guy. So, and again, this can be people. I mean, obviously, there's an aspect of political stuff here. I'm not really a politics guy, but I am, in social media and in all sorts of media, with it being an election year. No matter which side of the aisle you'd like to hang out on, what your thoughts are. There's so much disdain and hate for the other side, and it almost doesn't matter what anybody else on the other side says because you're automatically just going to say that they're wrong and they're bad. And there's no, we're in a space that nobody is serving anybody, and it's not leadership. There's not compassion. There's not help. There's not love. Superheroes are coming in and saying, disregard that. Be the best version of yourself as often as possible. Here's what you have at your disposal. You have a mind. You have a heart. You have a life. You have the ability to create thoughts that serve yourself and serve others. Every single day is an opportunity for you to decide who you want to be and do something about it. Go out and do something. Here are some tips and some techniques. Here's my list of superheroes, my Hall of Justice. And there's many other people out there, but right now, here's a quick list of some go-tos for you if you are interested in learning more on how to be the best superhero for you. Right now, and these are no particular order except for number one, and this is really just in my space, and I think I've touched on this in the past couple weeks. Right now, my current Superman, my current head of the Justice League is Dr. Joe Dispenza. The work that I've done, that he's done actually, and that I've done on myself based on the work that he's done, has really done so much for my life and everybody in my life. So big shout out to Dr. Joe, but also other people on the list: Gary Vaynerchuk, Claude Silver, both obviously. I don't know if you know Claude Silver. She is the chief heart officer, works for Gary Vaynerchuk. The two of them are doing some amazing things in a corporate and entertainment space. Wayne Dyer, R.I.P., rest in peace. Wayne was an amazing person, but look his information up. Obviously, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, Sadhguru, Les Brown, Dr. Bruce Lipton gets so into. I mean, he's got some heady stuff out there, but really, I think he's a book called something about biology beyond belief or belief of biology. Basically, just talks about how our thoughts can really have a major effect on our genes and on how our whole body can survive and thrive through disease, etc. Epigenetics, it's pretty powerful stuff. Mel Robbins, obviously, she's a compassionate person. She's had life experience. She has some amazing TED Talks, but also if you follow her on Instagram, some good stuff. Bob Proctor, who's as old school as you get. He was in The Secret, but a big, he's a big proponent of Think and Grow Rich, and I think that's where he started a lot of his information following Napoleon Hill in the old days. But Bob Proctor still has some amazing things out there. Greg Braden, who's he's featured on Ancient Aliens a lot, but also he has a show I think on Gaia called Missing Links, and he's got some pretty cool stuff on there. And I've certainly taken some major pointers in my life from some of his stuff. There's a new guy on my radar called Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's also an extremely amazing and powerful neuroscientist. I say powerful, that his information is powerful. He's doing so much with the studying and information that he's done. And then there's another guy named Rich Roll who has a podcast, but he's like a super athlete guy. Just one day decided, that he was going to change his life around physically and has won triathlons or decathlons or all those crazy Ironman things. And you know who else is, what's the guy's name? Goggins. Got to look up Goggins, and for some reason, because I'm talking into my podcast, I can't remember his first name now, but I think it's David Goggins. He will change your life and punch you in the face at the same time in a great way. So check out any of these. These are people on my list. These are superheroes. This is a Hall of Justice. You can put them, imagine them in any superhero outfit you want. They are here to save the day. Do yourself a favor. Start spending some time with them. Anybody on the list, you can look it up. Just spend some time on YouTube. In fact, if you start searching pick 5 of those, and YouTube will start suggesting some other people that might be part of your superhero list. So again, bad guys are just telling you to be afraid, be scared, and you're not going to make it, and you need other people to take care of you. By the way, I also just want to just say clearly, obviously, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I'm not saying you have to do everything all by yourself. I'm just saying most of the time people don't really realize how much power they do have on their own. And then sometimes asking for help is the first step in shifting gears so that you can do it on your own. And if you ask help from the right people, any of these people on this list would be a good place to start. But other people in your life, whether it be at your church or through a therapy or depending on what your struggles are, I'm no way insinuating that you should not look for help. I am insinuating that while you look for help outside, you can also have the help that you need inside. And sometimes it just takes you a superhero to show you how to do it. Anyway, I hope this was clear. I hope this was helpful. I hope you are inspired to do some research. I often talk about you being the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. In the past, I've done podcasts all about that, actually. I used to be on a podcast called The Unattached, which was then shifted to Coachy Shit. And I think we did a whole episode. You could probably find that on YouTube, just on the 5 people you spend the most time with and how that is the influence of your life and who they are and who are they. And I think we get into it's not just the people in your life. It's not just your friends or family, but it's also you can choose the 5 people you spend the most time with, to be people you search for on YouTube. You can surround yourself with information that will serve your future from other people who have lived stressful lives and have overcome it and made it their life's mission to share information that will serve others. And there's plenty of them out there. So do your present self and your future self a favor. And if you haven't already, listen. Well, obviously you haven't already, but listen to this again. But if you haven't already, look up any of the people on that list. Start getting some information. See what you like. See what turns you on. See what turns your brain on. See what helps you realize that you have the ability to be the best version of yourself. And listen to that. Pay attention to that. Watch those videos as often as possible. Speaking of videos, please feel free to also check out my YouTube channel, Teach Me to Sell. I know many of you are solopreneurs and coaches and that type of a thing, but it's not only about sales, it's also about mindset. And so I've got a bunch of videos on there as well. So we'd love any feedback. Check that out. And also, lastly, please feel free to check out my book on Amazon. It's called Be Patient, Be Present, Be Joyful, a first aid kit for the emotional bumps, scrapes, and bruises of life. I appreciate your awesomeness. I genuinely, as I mentioned, I think in last week's episode, the numbers of my downloads are increased. I'm up to, I think I'll probably be at like 90,000 lifetime by the end of this month. And so you guys are amazing. And I cannot tell you how much that means to me. And I want you to genuinely know that I really, truly appreciate you making time to listen to this video. It's not even a video. And that would be amazing if you could listen to this video because it's an audio. Thanks for being you. I will see you next week. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, whatever, find me on social media. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me at ryanstanley.com. Have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are, whenever you are. And I look forward to sharing some time and space with you next week. Thanks for being you.